Who? What? Why? Welcome to Philip's Thoughts. It's time for another week in review. This is November 21st, 2020. It's almost Turkey Day, but we got some things to talk about. YouTube, they have changed their TOS, their terms of service recently. And this is big news for, several million creators out there. Now, most of their changes, not really that big a deal, I don't think. But there is one really big one, and I just want to talk about that, because, it really affects everybody, even little small creators like me it could end up affecting. But, and YouTube's done a couple other things recently that's affected some larger creators out there, and so I just want to touch base on that as well. But before I get too far ahead of myself, let's go back to the terms of service that they changed. Now, one of the things that they changed was there's a facial recognition restriction. Apparently, I'm not allowed to, copy somebody's information without their consent, and that includes their face. So I don't know how I would do that on a video here. Unless I'm live streaming or something with somebody or whatever, but I'm sure I would have their consent if I'm actually talking to them. Anybody watching my videos, there's no way I'm going to get your picture, so I don't get it. Kind of a non-item there. They're saying they already stated they can't collect information and identify a person without their permission, and they're just kind of throwing that in there to specify, facial recognition. So no big deal on that one. Another one that's not a big deal, I don't think too much, at least not yet. I mean, I'm not a tax person, but they're basically changing whatever payments that they do pay their creators over to calling them royalties. I tried looking this up on the tax codes. Frankly, it's just a crazy nightmare as far as what should be considered a royalty or not, and I think really they're probably just playing legalese games with the wordings and, like, hey, here's where this is this. But again, I'm not a tax person, so I don't know what kind of effect that would have for somebody, making money off of YouTube. So I don't think that's a big deal. It seems like royalties are taxed the same as everything else. So, hey, go for it. But here's the big one. YouTube has decided, in their great wisdom, that even though you may be a small creator like me, I am a very small creator, don't have, a whole lot of subscribers, have a, big handful of videos out there, and that's it. As opposed to, somebody that has, 100,000 subscribers or whatever. But, in order to, and I guess, quick little bit of background information on this, because basically what YouTube is saying is they have the right to monetize any video on their platform. But for a creator like me, I have to have 1,000 subscribers, and you have to have 4,000 watch hours within a year time frame. And that's to where you're allowed to go ahead and get in on the ads type thing. And you have to create an AdSense account and, go through all those hoops. And you have to get approved for that, which, from what I've seen and what I've heard from other creators, that can be a pain. They're really struggling to get approval. They think like, hey, I've got all this, and they submit, and then YouTube kind of puts around, and maybe, I don't know, maybe, a month or two later, they finally hear back, yay or nay. But what they're saying here, and then the thing is, even if you are approved to put ads on videos, you may have a video where you're talking something, maybe a little controversial, or, or something, like, hey, advertisers don't want to add on, put ads on your videos of, internal organs, because that's gross, kind of thing, whatever, whatever reason, they could say, hey, this is not monetizable, we can't find anybody that wants to advertise on your stuff, even though you have 50,000 views or whatever it is on your video. YouTube saying, hey, guess what? We can stick ads on that now. Also what they're saying, to small creators like me is like, hey, even though you don't meet our standards for monetization, guess what? We're going to stick an ad on your video. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't know if it'll affect any small creators like me or not. But yeah, basically they're saying, hey, we can make money off of you, but you can't. And that stinks. That just stinks. Not not like, well, we're going to give you half of what we give the, regular people or something, Not that it's a whole lot. I mean, I've seen where, some creators, they're like, yeah, I get like, $2 or whatever for 1,000 views, or $1.50 or whatever it may be, kind of thing. They're not even giving you a fraction. They're saying, nope, you ain't going to get nothing. We're going to go ahead and monetize it, and yay for us, kind of thing, as far as YouTube's concerned. And that stinks. And the question that comes to mind is, how are they doing this? I kind of figure they're probably doing some kind of a deal with their, marketing, to advertisers saying, hey, we'll get you, X number of views on these great big channels. And you know what? We'll go ahead and we'll throw in some free views, some quote unquote free views or reduced rate views on these lesser channels, that might, draw you some traffic kind of thing. But we're going to charge you less or whatever, the situation will be. And I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing here, but I'm just imagining those are the conversations going on the back side of the house there. But I wonder what those advertisers think, about, their ads being placed on, people's content without those people benefiting at all. I'd like to hear some of that, So I would say, if you're watching any of my videos, if you're watching a small creator, if you see a creator that has, 50 subscribers or 100 subscribers or, 500 or 800 subscribers, but they're under that 1,000 threshold and stuff, they're not normally, able to, get advertisements. If you see an advertisement on there, maybe pay attention to who that advertisement's coming from. I don't want to say, do a boycott against them or something like that, but I'd be interested to know, what are you seeing? Who are these people that are advertising on here? And do they know that they're doing that? I mean, I think that's worth a question, because then they can kind of push the YouTube and say, hey, maybe you ought to give them a little cut of the revenue from this or something, type of deal like that. Because I just think, hey, you're always out for the little guy, these big businesses, they say they are anyway. So how about helping to support that? People always, look up, hey, what kind of, income does a small creator get? You have to define small creator. I am a very small creator. I don't have a whole lot of subscribers, viewers, etc., etc. Somebody that is actually making money off of YouTube through their AdSense and that, they've already got, like I said, over 1,000 subscribers. Typically, they probably have 50,000 or more. And to me, it's kind of like, hey, you've made it. You've got that. You've earned a contract. You've got. You're getting bank. Kind of thing. You're yes, you're still a small YouTuber. You're not. One of those. YouTubers that has millions of subscribers or whatever. But you're not small either. I'm sorry, you're not. By the time you get to that point, you're not really that small of a YouTuber. You are actually making some money. Whether or not you can live off of that, that's a whole other story. I think some of the, creators that are, I'll say small in the AdSense space, they may get a few $100s, maybe $1,000 a month or something like that. It's not until you get, where you're up around like 100,000 subscribers and that, and you're getting, a lot more views exponentially because of that, that you're then able to just fully support yourself maybe off of YouTube and the AdSense revenue and so forth. And again, you're still not going to be rich. You're going to be making enough money to survive, but, you're not going to get rich at it anyways, unless you got other streams of income coming in as well. Now, along those lines, another thing that YouTube did this week, or not this week, but I guess past couple months actually, I just kind of became aware of it this past week. Another thing that they've done is there's a lot of YouTubers, and this is the folks that are in that lower range, where, they're living YouTube paycheck to paycheck kind of thing, where they have, under 100,000 subscribers, they have maybe 50,000 or so, and they're making a living, but, that's it. They're making a living. They're surviving. they're the blue collar workers of the YouTube environment kind of thing. They don't have big production crews or whatever, but they've got a good following. A lot of those people apparently, they had essentially their views drop out. Basically it was kind of like, September came and, they had views there and everything, but then something happened. Initially YouTube said it was a glitch. It caused, all the view count to drop like to 0 essentially. And I guess it did that for like a couple months. And, there's a lot of other YouTubers out there. I'd say, go ahead and do a search on that. You'll probably find some of them. Some of them may be other people that you watch. But they have essentially, slashed out, their income for those months. And like I said, initially it was a glitch. Oh, YouTube was going to fix that. And then what it seems like happened was YouTube basically quit talking to the creators and just sent out kind of these blank, generic notifications saying, hey, as part of our algorithms and blah, 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 we reviewed and those weren't actually real views. So we took those out and adjusted you to what you actually had, real view wise. And, like I said, you've got people that have, videos with, maybe 20,000 views or 10,000 views every, video for a month or something. And suddenly you're saying like none of those were real people. It's like, what? No, it can't be, And then the funny thing is suddenly their view count pops back up to a more reasonable level, although from what I've seen, it's not up to where it was. They're cutting it down. That's crazy. I mean, that's affecting a lot of people's livelihoods. I'm not in that space. I'm still way small, but it makes you think. I mean, do you want to get to that point? Do you want to get into that point? You'd like to be making some money on YouTube, and that's why, I would encourage you to, support your creators in other ways, be that, with Patreon or locals like I have, or, just, PayPal or whatever, kick them a payment directly type of thing. To support your creators, especially the smaller ones that, aren't getting, that money from YouTube. People think, oh yeah, you're on YouTube, you're making tons of money. It's like, no, not even close. But, again, yeah, you're making that money through YouTube, but then just arbitrarily they can cut that out and everything, and it's like a lot of these creators are just stuck. There's not a whole lot of recourse going back to them. I kind of thinking about this the other day. It's kind of like, the fox guarding the chicken coop. The farmer goes up to the fox and says, hey, can I get my eggs for the day? And the fox goes, oh yeah, here's 3. And the farmer's like, wait a minute, I thought there was 10 in there yesterday. And the fox is like, no, there's only 3, I mean, he just sit behind there, munching on, the other 7. I mean, it's kind of the same thing, the way I think about this. I mean, it's kind of ridiculous, but yeah, I mean, there's a lot of trust between creators and YouTube because they're trusting YouTube to give us all that analytics and hoping it'd be accurate and whatnot. So, I mean, we're really trusting them, I guess is what I'm getting at, and I wonder if that trust is... I'm wondering if it's earned at this point, I mean, some of the shady things that are going on. There's a lot of shenanigans happening. And so I just want to get that out there. Those are just a couple big YouTube type items for the week that I wanted to get out there. Now, on to other news. One of the things, Joe Biden is pushing for free college. We're going to pay college off. I got some issues with that. I got a question. I guess I got a question. Not necessarily an issue. I got a question. Because, I've always kind of done the pay-to-play kind of thing. I've gone and had my employer pay for some of my college, etc., kind of thing. But I've paid as I went, kind of deal. One way or the other. Either I was paying it, or my employer, or both of us, covering the cost of books and everything else. But But here's my question, okay? If Joe Biden's going to, like, hey, I want to go ahead and pay college, $50,000, $10,000, whatever the magic number ends up being. My question is, can I go out and order up some college right now on the contingency that Joe Biden, the federal government's going to go ahead and pay for it for me, so I don't have to, actually put out my own money? Can I go ahead and do that right now? Can I just run out, go to my local college, say, hey, how much is a 4-year degree? And they say, oh, it's going to be, $40,000, $50,000, $80,000, whatever the heck it is. And I'll say, okay, let's charge it up on the government's account. Can I do that contingent upon that getting passed? Can I say, okay, I don't want that $50,000 to go to your college, but only if the government's paying it off for me. If the government's not going to pay off this $50,000, you can just keep it, because I can't afford it, kind of thing. I wonder, can I do that? I mean, otherwise, is it really fair that, people that, in good faith, they went through the process, they did what, you're supposed to do, as far as funneling money into these colleges, which, I don't know, I think the colleges are way overpaid, but that's a whole nother video. I see, a lot of stories on how, over in Europe and stuff, colleges are a lot cheaper and all that kind of stuff, and, I'd like to know why, so I may need to dig into that just to understand better, why we are so expensive. Just one of those things. But anyways, that is one of the things I wanted to bring up this week. Of course, election results wise, that's still being bannered around. And the funny thing is with that, on some YouTube videos, if they are talking about the election, you're going to see a little banner thing, little pop up down below that typically says, the AP has certified that, Joe Biden is, the next president, blah, 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 president-elect, whatever. The AP is a news source, okay? That's not a government entity. I mean, who are they to certify? I mean, this is still being ratified and counted or whatever, amongst the different states and whatnot. So, overstretching your authority a little bit there, AP, I think. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's like, yeah, they're probably doing a great guess. I mean, but I don't know. Just seems kind of ridiculous. They act, YouTube's acting like they're an authoritative source on this. But that's not the way it works, I mean, it's kind of like, well, the defense attorney says he's innocent, Okay, but, the prosecutor's got all this evidence over here, and the trial's not over yet. We got to wait for the judge or the jury to actually say he's innocent. You can't go off of what the defense attorney says. So, anyways, that's another thing that I think is just kind of wacky out there, so be mindful when you see things like that. Know who's saying it, and, okay, do they really, are they the real source of the information, I guess, type of thing. I know YouTube and all them are trying to battle disinformation out there, but I think they're throwing some of their own disinformation as well. So, let me see. Oh, Steelers! Yay! Had a blowout. Blew out the Cincinnati Bengals. We got another one this weekend. Going against a bad team. They've got a 1-8 record. Should be another blowout. Fingers crossed. I have a sneaky suspicion, though, that the Steelers are looking ahead, because I believe they're playing on Thanksgiving, and they're going to be playing the Ravens. And so they got a short preparation week. So they may be preparing for that, but honestly, if they're preparing for that, I think that should also help them with this next game. So I'm hoping for a blowout this game. I have a feeling Turkey Day is going to be stressful. I'm going to have to get my old blood pressure gauge out while I'm eating my turkey, watching the game there, because I think that one could be dangerous. So go Steelers. We're going to hope that pans out. I want to do a question of the day segment. And this is a question that's been kind of going through my head for a while. And, I just want to know if there's any information out there. I mean, because I don't know. And this is just because, everybody keeps talking about, wearing masks, mask mandates everywhere, and coronavirus is spreading, and you know, more people are getting it, and you know, bad things happen. And I'm just wondering, has there been a study anywhere that shows, you know, wearing a mask? And I'm not talking one of the medical masks, because let's face it, you know, most people aren't wearing, you know, the medical rated masks. You know, they're just wearing cloth, you know, whatever's. Do those make a difference? Now, I know there's tons of videos out there where people are, you know, masked and maskless, and they're, you know, talking into a petri dish, and then, oh, look, stuff's growing, and, you know, that. And that's bacteria growing, which bacteria is different than a virus, and the bacteria are also larger than the virus. So, you know, the masks are definitely able to stop those from getting through. You know, with the, you know, the spit, you know, or whatever, the water droplets as you're talking. Speaking of which, you know, I'm sorry, but the guy who played the king from Hamilton, you know, that guy's a super spreader. I mean, he's juicy, let's just say. If you watch that, you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, my question is there any kind of study out there that shows definitively one way or the other, you know, people that wear masks or don't wear masks are getting COVID more than others or not? There's got to be some kind of study or something out there. I'm sure somebody's got numbers, you know. I'd just be curious as to what they are. So if you know of anything, you know, go ahead, you know, put comments in down below. You know, if you got a link to something, go ahead and stick that in there. You know, I'd like to check it out to see what's up with that. For my bonehead comment of the week, you know, I'm gonna have to give it to YouTube. You know, going ahead and monetizing videos, putting, you know, ads on the videos that aren't monetized for the creator. I think that is just a bonehead comment thing to be doing. So I'm going to give it to YouTube this time. So YouTube gets the bonehead comment of the week. Yeah, that one floors me. You know, I just think that's a slap in the face to, you know, all the hard work that, you know, people like myself do, you know, editing videos and recording videos, and, you know, you don't know how many times, you know, people record videos, you know. Excuse me. How much time you put into it, you know, all the footage you put in, then you cut out a whole bunch and, you know, smash it together. So, a lot of work goes into some of these. So, that's my opinion there. So, that's the week in review for this week. I hope you enjoyed. And till next time, keep thinking. Hello, and welcome to the end of the video. If you liked this video and you'd like to see more, please click subscribe down below or follow, depending on which platform you happen to be catching this video on. And come on back for some more and check out some of my previous videos. And until next time, keep thinking and enjoy.